Hi, guys.
When we last joined Larry and Glenda, we were about to hear about Glenda's quinceañera. And for those of us who didn't spend time in Spain, what is a quinceañera?
A quinceañera is when you become 15.
Okay, a lot of people become 15.
Yeah, but
they don't have quinceañeras.
But, you know, in Spanish countries, instead of sweet 16, they have sweet 15.
Okay,
quinceañera.
So they're a little ahead of us.
Yes.
Okay.
They believe that a girl becomes a woman at the age of 15. That's the original real cause you had quinceañeras. It's because it was like a right to go from childhood to a womanhood.
But obviously Neil Sedaka didn't feel that happy birthday, sweet dick had the same ring to it.
No.
So he moved the other one forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So, your quinceañera.
Yes.
Signora.
Sí. Okay.
Sí, okay.
Well,
Quoi?
My sweet 15, which was a very small thing because I preferred a piano versus a big party.
Okay, well, obviously you can't move around much in a piano, so it had to be small.
It was a regular size.
Was it an upright?
Yes.
It was an upright.
Yeah.
Okay. At least you didn't have to hunch over.
We lived in an apartment. You can't really have,
Go ahead, say it.
A huge piano.
Okay. I've taken opera lessons in the Hotel Ansonia, which is basically a bunch of apartments at the time. And the man had a grand piano.
Okay.
A concert grand piano.
Okay.
But in your apartment, you had an upright.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Glenda was upright at 15. I just want to make that clear.
Wow. So at that age, the archangels came.
Again?
Yes. Well, they come all the time. They're always talking to me.
They like you.
Yeah, they don't like you.
And it's trickled down, people. I can't freaking help it, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they gave me a glimpse of my future.
A glimpse?
Yeah, they let me see.
They didn't show you me, did they?
No.
Okay, good.
They showed me.
At 15, that might have been a little scary.
They showed me.
Scary enough now.
They showed me.
They showed you.
My three kids.
They showed you at 15.
Yes, I knew.
But you didn't have them at 15.
No.
Okay, they just showed you the future 3 kids.
I didn't start having children until I was 29.
Thank goodness. So.
Yes, so they told me that the first one was going to be a boy and blonde, blue eyes. The second one was going to be a girl, black hair, light eyes. And the third one was going to be brown hair, brown eyes.
So they got all 3 right.
Well, they're archangels.
Yeah, well, I just,
For goodness sakes.
I just want to acknowledge that they got them right.
Yes, they
Okay,
did.
well, so they knew when you were 15 that you were going to have 3.
Yeah.
What they were going to look like, and did you recognize them when you saw them?
Of course.
Okay. Well, how old were they when they showed them to you? Because inquiring minds want to know.
They actually showed them to me from birth to age 10 and age 20.
Okay, so they're on their own now.
Yes, I guess.
Mostly they're on their own. Mostly, as much as she allows. So they showed you your 3 kids.
Yes.
Okay. And despite that, you persisted.
Yes.
Anything else notable happened at 15?
Nah.
Okay, good.
Stuff happened, but
notable. Yeah.
They were not
I mean, we've
about
already
it.
blown almost 45 minutes. So, and you're only 15.
Yes.
And again, we're starting to go the wrong way because you went 9 to 13, and then you went 13 to 15. We're still compressing, but not as much. The compressions happened, right before the paddles. Anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
So, where do we go from 15? That you want to talk about?
I want to talk about. I don't remember the ages. That's the only problem.
Well, we don't care about the ages.
Okay.
We don't need those thinking ages. Nobody's going to go back and say, well, she was really 16, but, well, it was a quinceañera, so, yeah.
Wow. So for those of you who have joined in late, we're in a transition period. We're going from one station to other options.
Other options.
Doesn't
that sound
options.
mysterious?
Yes.
Other
options.
It's time
Yes.
for another option.
Yes. So we just decided today to do something. He was thinking.
Well, we always decide to do something, but sometimes I get a green light, sometimes I get a yellow light.
Anyway, so today he decided to interview me.
Oh, wait. No, this will not pass. This will not pass. I did not decide to interview you. Don't shine these people on in front of me. You want to bullshit them. You bullshit them on your own time, okay? So,
yes.
She told me, why don't you interview me?
Yeah.
I didn't. No, it doesn't work like that. This relationship, folks. Don't you think for a minute I tell her what to do. It's like, okay, how high?
A little higher.
Yeah, a little. Hopefully, maybe after the show. But anyway. So.
Yes.
At the next increment that we, and while you're talking, maybe the age will come back to you. But never mind the age. What's the next freaking thing?
Okay, the next 3 things that I remember.
I said freaking, but you said 3.
Yeah,
let's handle them one at a time.
Besides having my children.
Oh, so we're jumping way. You want to leave that whole other? Okay, because that was the buzz. I was hoping to hear about that shit. Because you won't talk to me about it, but then baby. All right. So after you had the 3 children, and that were those the 3 things you were talking about? 3 things.
Yeah.
So after she had the 3 things, and if you met her children, you'll understand. After you had the 3 things,
and he'll be getting all the burn marks from that. I should sit back and wait. So.
For Christmas, I'm going to get sweaters. Thing 1. Thing 2. But go ahead.
Yeah. See how long he can stay outside in the doghouse.
You won't let me stay out there because I'll annoy the neighbors far more than I annoy you. And you're way too compassionate to allow me to do that.
So true.
Yes.
So true. Oh, Lordy.
Thanks for that CBD oil. Take some of the burn away. But anyway.
Okay, so let's see. I died another time.
Oh, wow. There'll be no glossing over number 2. This was number 2, right? Because I know there's more to come. So this was number 2. You died again.
Yeah.
What stupid thing did you do?
Actually, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Oh, you had assistance for this one.
Yeah.
It wasn't the undertoad.
No, it was the doctor who gave me over anesthesia. Too much anesthesia.
Okay, well that sounds like it was happening like around the 3rd child.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to just be a little, because he already heard this.
Yes.
You already dropped this on him in another show. 21 years he didn't know about this, and all of a sudden we're doing these shows. You're like, you never told me that. But anyway. That's thing 3. Okay.
Yes. He, the doctor.
The doctor, not the child.
The doctor gave me too much anesthesia.
Too much anesthesia. Well, usually the anesthesiologist.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The other one didn't stop him either. So knowing that, no, he knew that I had problems with the anesthesia, and he still. And,
how much did he get paid? Anyway.
So they put me out to the point where
you were gone.
Yes.
Yeah, you were out and gone.
And gone.
And who kicked you back then?
My grandmother.
Your grandmother? Yeah. Which one?
My mother's mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not Granny.
No.
Okay, but your grandmother. Okay.
So no, not
kicked you back.
Yep.
What'd she say to you?
She said I still had a lot to do, and she's not letting me off that easy.
She's bossy.
Yeah, it reminds me of somebody.
Yeah.
I wonder who that is.
We know who that is. So your grandmother kicked you back.
Yep.
Okay. And did you get to say hi to your Uncle Sid and
hi to Uncle Sid?
Well, I'm saying, were you like,
yes,
did you do the meet and greet, or was it just Granny?
It was Grandma, my Granny.
Excuse me. Was it just Grandma that said,
No, I had, I saw a couple.
Okay, so you had a little greeting party, and they said, it's nice to see you, but
yep,
not yet.
Not your time.
Okay.
So, especially when I just literally had the 3rd child.
Right.
So,
and that child needed a mother.
Yes.
That child needed a mother. Oh boy. Yeah.
He's the one that lives with us, and I cannot wait until he sees this. Because I'm going to sit back, get the popcorn, and watch the show.
Hopefully, the rest of you already have your popcorn. If you've seen some of the other shows, you know to have your popcorn. So, all right, so you got booted back by your grandmother, your mother's mother, who also had gifts on you.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yep.
Okay.
All the women on my mother's side had gifts. So, and just pass it along.
Okay, so just pass them along with the Palladian and all the other places you've played. So.
Go ahead.
You're gonna let me drive? We've already gone down that road. All right. So, what else do you want to say about that?
Basically, guys, when it's not your turn, don't go for it. It may be very, very peaceful over there, very loving, but I was at peace with myself at that point.
All right, but
I want to make sure. Yes.
But because you've opened that door. All right. Should anyone ever go for it?
No.
Why not?
Because you come back and you relive that lifetime. And you actually live in your own hell.
Ew.
So who wants to come back?
All right. So, aside from people who think it's a way out, and Epstein not necessarily included, because I still don't buy that he did that.
Right.
But that's another show. It's never advisable, and if it happens by someone else's hand, and you have a busy dance card like this one, they'll literally pick you up and throw you back, and you may have bruises. Did you have bruises?
Yeah.
Okay, good. They were gentle.
Yeah.
Well, it was the grandmother. All right. Yeah. So, anything else happen besides thing 3 and getting booted back?
No.
Okay, so where are we going next?
Okay. Next. Okay. Trip to the other side, number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can do the math if you want to know when thing 2 was born and when that happened. We don't have to mention years and do the math for you. It's not that important, because time is a man-made construct, but that's another show. So,
Yes.
Round
Headache.
3.
Headache.
That's my pet name is Headache. Just,
So number
nobody
3.
saw that. Round 3.
Yes, round 3. That's when I realized I was allergic to a medication.
You realized you got a hint.
I got a hint.
Somebody gave you a hint.
Somebody gave me a hint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to name the medication?
No.
Okay.
No.
But it was actually prescribed.
Yes.
Not by the same doctor that.
No.
Okay.
This is actually.
This was another idiot.
Another idiot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a common medication that you use for what I had. So they just prescribed it.
I've known you a while in this lifetime, and you never have anything common.
That's true.
Okay. So.
But they didn't know me well.
So, round 3. Okay,
Yeah.
and you took a trip.
Yeah.
You didn't pack.
No.
Okay, so what was that like?
That was very peaceful, but again, they did show me a few things of my future, and they also said I needed to come back.
Okay. Okay. Since you brought it up, I didn't bring it up. She brought it up. What did they show you?
Show me stuff of the future.
Sounds like?
Sounds like stuff of the future.
Has it happened?
2 of the 3 things have happened.
Okay.
Yes.
And I presume they were good things.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get you to come back.
No, actually, the first one was not a good thing.
Was not a good thing.
In the end, it was a good thing.
In the end, well, in the end could be a good thing if it's done right.
Yeah.
So,
Since
we're agreed that thing 2 was a good thing,
yes.
Can you share thing 2 with us?
Bought a house in PA.
Bought a house in PA. The current
Yes.
abode? Okay.
Current abode.
So they showed you this house.
Yep.
And since we're on the subject, about how long ago was this?
Well, that I bought the house. Or
No, that you saw the house. Try to keep up.
Yeah, I know.
About
year 2000.
Okay.
Year 2000.
So almost 20 years ago. And you're in the house about how long?
9, 8.
Okay.
9.
So 10 years before the house.
Yep.
They showed you the house.
Yep.
And did you recognize the house
when I walked in? Yes. When I walked in, because they showed me the house when it was the 3 owners ago, when the outside of the house looked very different. When I walked into the house and I went to the dining room, that's when I saw.
So if I understand you correctly,
yes.
What was it you saw?
The key points of the house.
The window.
The window and that whole wall
with the window.
Wood, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, if I understand you correctly, you recognize
the house. I said
the house.
Yes.
Okay. You recognize that. Well, not from the outside.
Bring me down. Thank you. You're giving me a headache now, for sure.
Let me take it away.
You won't be able to. Get away.
I'll take it away.
Get away. Get away.
I may not take it away, you take it away. But I can take away a headache too. But anyway. So you recognize the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I recognize.
So that was obviously foreshadowing or premonition, or they gave you knowledge. Okay, and the house was obviously with the other 2 things enough for you to say, okay, I'm not going to piss into that window. I'll come back and try this again.
Yeah.
Okay, so. And then
the 4th time was.
Whoa. Nothing happened between the 3rd time and the 4th time.
Then the 4th time was a year later. And
well, at least we're getting closer.
The doctor actually gave me another raw medication.
Same doctor?
No, this was an emergency room.
Okay, so you were smart enough not to go back to that doctor and get medication from that doctor.
Oh, well, he didn't know. You get prescribed what normally everybody else gets prescribed. How are you supposed to know you're allergic to it until you try it? Technically.
Wait a minute, you're a psychic.
If you're sick, I don't care. You're still human. You're sick, you could have an off day.
So, in other words, because this brings us to a very important point as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Just because you're psychic,
yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to bat better than the average meteorologist.
No.
Okay? Everybody has an off day.
Yeah.
And
especially when it comes to yourself.
Yeah, well, but that's all part and parcel too, because obviously if you knew everything, what's the point?
Right. And then what's the point of free will?
Exactly. So for all those assholes, arrogant bastards who go around and, well, how come you don't get the numbers then? Yeah. It don't work like that, jackass. And I think he knows who I'm referring to. But anyway, that's another show.
My mother used to get numbers.
But I'm not saying it can't happen.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the arrogant bastards who try to say it's not real because if it was real, nobody who was psychic would ever be challenged in life.
You do know we got to keep this kind of like the same way before, right?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point because it is a very important point. Most of her is human, and it's not infallible. Let's just say I'm a very patient man. But anyway, so the fourth time in the emergency room, or did you get to go home?
No, I got to go home.
You get to go home, and it happened at home.
Yeah.
And despite that.
So
what happened?
I died.
Oh,
my father called the.
All right, so you were with your dad.
No, actually, he got told to come over because he was.
What do you mean he got told to come over?
He just got a message and had a feeling that he needed to come over.
He got a message, so it wasn't just your mother.
Well, no,
He got a message. I'm just saying, it wasn't just your mother. Messages can happen. Stuff, shit happens. Men too can, be a little. Anyway, so your father came over and found you in a compromised situation.
And he called 911. They came in and they.
He just stood there and watched you until then, or did he He did what he could to revive you. Okay, so.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember.
That was 4.
That was 4. There you
go. Okay.
Yep.
So she looks pretty good for someone who's been dead 4 times, doesn't she? A little cold at night sometimes, but hey, I like that. Anyway.
I'm sleeping in the other room.
You was sleeping in the other room.
Everywhere.
Where it's warm.
Right.
Okay. So.
Yes.
We've gone through 4 deaths.
Yeah.
In one lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was about 9 years ago. Because you.
No. Year 2000.
Okay. Okay. So that was 2001.
Yes. I was like.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm just seeing if she's paying attention.
Yep. Anyway,
what's your next milestone that you want to share with those people who are still with us? How many? Oh, gee.
Milestone.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. When I met my first mentor for my gifts, she.
Okay. You had your gifts, your first mentor, mented. Now, I want to stop here a minute because you've glossed over something.
Oh.
All right? Yeah.
What did I gloss over?
The piano.
The piano, okay.
Why was the piano important to you?
Because I love music, and I was taking piano lessons, and then.
And what did you do with that?
I actually ended up doing concerts in New York.
Concerts? Well, I mean, you play, it's a concert,
No,
one people, 5 people.
Big auditorium.
Big auditorium.
New York, yes. Won trophies, diplomas, certificates.
They give you trophies, diplomas, and certificates at a concert?
Not there. Not just one. Yes. Okay. Medals.
Medals.
I went into competition also. Yeah.
You were one of them competitive type pianists.
Wow. She's
not at all competitive. But yeah, so you won competitions.
Yeah. Music was my outlet.
Oh, okay. Wait till you see the plug. So
that was my outlet.
Okay. So that was your outlet. But you didn't just channel that gift. You're not an idiot savant.
No.
You're a different kind of idiot, but you're not an idiot savant.
No, I took lessons.
You took lessons.
Yes.
And then what did you do with the lessons?
I played piano.
Okay.
So what do you do?
But you don't get a lesson and play piano. There's a lot of, most of us, in between, we have to
practice.
Any of that involved?
Right before the next piano lesson. Why would I want to overdo it? Don't be silly.
Okay. Seriously.
Seriously. Yes.
A lot of practice.
Mm.
That didn't just.
No, I did practice, but like anything.
Right.
If you.
Well, no, not like anything, because there are some people that can channel.
Right.
That gift,
yeah.
and I just want to make it clear that wasn't while your ability to hone it was considered a gift.
Right.
But you had to work for that one.
Right. But I also did great when it came to the melody side of playing the piano.
Right.
That was more channeled because I would go into a trance when I was just doing very nice musical stuff, not the hard playing or anything like that, or the playing that is now. It was more classical. When I went to classical, I'm very involved, and I just went into my own trance, so to speak.
But you still had to establish the skill to play at that level through hard work and practice and beatings by your piano teacher and. Yeah.
I loved her.
Yeah. Well, that's why you like beatings now. But anyway.
Wow. Do not take that seriously, people.
Do not take anything I say seriously. That's why I'm the interviewer and she's the interviewee. All right. So.
Please don't take that.
Please don't take. But.
Hi, Henry. Hi, cousin.
But you did have sort of a challenging relationship with your piano mentor.
Yes, because she knew that I could become greater than where I was.
And that you were just only practicing right before the lessons.
Yeah. She wasn't stupid.
Well,
besides the fact,
the two are not necessarily mutually exclusive.
No, she was a very smart
one. Okay.
But the thing was that just like I am challenging right now, and I challenge everybody, I challenged her also.
You don't challenge me. You're a pussycat.
I
of
challenged
course,
her.
A leopard's a pussycat too.
With all the claws out.
Yeah.
I challenged her to get greater understanding on patience, greater understanding of how she had to teach everybody in a different way. That was my job was done.
Some people you smack their knuckles, some people you smack their wrists. Maybe you smack their heads. Is that what you mean, different way?
Wow. I'm going to denozzle you if you don't.
Denozzle?
Yeah, denozzle. There you go. Everybody who watches TV will understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watch TV. I don't have a clue. But that's okay. I understand.
You don't watch the crime shows.
You're right. I don't watch the crime shows because I don't need to be immersed in more negative bullshit than I get walking out the door.
In politics?
Like some people. Right.
Right. I don't watch politics.
I don't watch politics either. All right? Because again, bullshit is bullshit whether you call it crime shows or politics. But that's another show.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I've been denozzled.
Denuzzled.
Oh, denuzzled. Is it denuzzled or denozzled?
Denozo.
Denozo.
Yes. Hi, Larry.
So, is that the guy that hit me with the rage?
No.
No, it's a different Larry? Okay. So, I was denozoed, and you were a concert pianist.
Yes.
In demand. What's the largest crowd that you, again, ballpark, and I'm not asking you, for the box office percentage.
Over 10,000?
Over 10,000.
Yeah.
10,000 with 4 zeros.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 with 3 zeros.
10 with 3 zeros.
10?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
That's okay.
10.
Yeah.
1, 0, 1, 2, 3 zeros.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands,
yes.
and a 1.
Yeah.
I'm going with 4.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
So where was that?
That was in New York.
Okay. There aren't a lot of places that you could fit a piano and you and 10,000 people.
I don't remember the place right now.
Okay. Can you remember the borough?
The borough?
It wasn't this jackass. What borough was
it? No. I was too young. I don't remember.
You were too. You didn't know about boroughs. You were a Jersey girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not only that, I didn't drive. I was too young. I didn't have my license.
Okay.
I was 16, 17.
Okay.
I just knew it was a lot.
10,000 people.
That's what they told me.
Oh, well, it wouldn't be the first time in their life. But, 10,000 people.
And I went in there, and surprisingly, there were a
lot of people. Well, 10,000 people. That's why I said there aren't a lot of places. And particularly at that time. And, all those years ago, they make places bigger now.
Yeah, like I said.
10,000 people.
My brain is sometimes.
That's another show, folks. But anyway, so that's your piano days.
Yep, that's my piano days.
Okay, so your mentor. Now we're gonna go down the road with your mentor. Not the piano mentor that used to smack you around. This mentor.
She didn't smack me around. She used to take politely a ruler.
So she went to Catholic school.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
That's a whole other show.
That's a whole other show. We won't talk about it school days, folks, because that's in the Akashic Records. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
We'll put that behind us.
Yes. Let's put that behind.
Your mentor.
My first mentor.
Your first. You've had more than one mentor.
Yes.
And not the piano mentor.
No,
this was your gifted.
Yes.
The one
metaphysical.
Who helped. Okay.
Holistic mentors. Yes. My first mentor.
Yes.
How
old were you?
How old was I? Hold on.
Again, ballpark it.
Mid-30s.
All right.
Yeah.
So you were a late bloomer.
Wow. No.
No.
I just.
You took your time.
I took my time.
Okay.
I decided to go in other directions.
You were busy.
I was busy.
Okay. So metaphysically, you had your first mentor in your 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
But technically, I had my mentor since I was.
I'm not talking about family.
No, I'm talking about the other side mentors, my guides.
Well, but we're talking about someone in the flesh.
Yes.
Someone that has a more physical investment in time and space than you.
Wasn't my family.
Right. Okay. It's not like, you were totally in the dark between then and your conversations with the archangels. So your first mentor,
Yes, my first
What
mentor.
would you like to share?
My first mentor, the day she met me, she came and we were in a park-like setting where they used to play free every summer, some local bands would go there, and I was with the kids. And she walked over to me and she actually said that she saw my violet and purple light from like 3 miles away when she was driving to the place. And she came over, introduced herself, and said, I need to.
So this isn't Willy Wonka where she turned into the blueberry. You actually had a
glow.
A glow.
A glow, I guess.
A glow. Was it an aura?
I don't know. She never explained it.
Just, because auras. How far away was she?
She was miles away.
Miles away, and she saw the purple light. Okay.
It's kind of like she knew she had to be there.
Right.
So she.
I'm bringing this stuff out. I mean, I'm bringing it out kind of silly, but I'm bringing this stuff out because there's no one way, and when you reach a certain level, you kind of learn to follow the hints.
Right.
And that could happen cross country.
Right.
So so miles away.
Yeah.
And first day you met her.
Yeah, she came over and she explained to me who she was and what she.
And who was she?
She was a woman.
When she explained to you who she was, how did she explain it to you?
I am so and so, and I know you have gifts, and this is what I do, and this is what I saw the glow, and I was told to be here, and now I understand why, because I am. If you're willing, I am to.
If you're willing.
If you're willing, I am here to help you develop those gifts to your full potential.
So it's her fault.
Yeah, it's her fault.
Oh boy. Remind me to thank her when I see her.
All right. Yeah.
And by the way, I will say at this point, I'm interviewing her, but if you have any questions for her, she's handling the chat, so feel free to pose your questions, and if she likes you, maybe she'll answer.
Oh my God, dear Lord.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. No pressure.
So,
go ahead.
Your mentor.
Yes.
And how many eons did you spend with this mentor?
Eons. I spent with this mentor throughout the rest of her life.
The rest of her life?
Yes, which was.
So it kind of was an eon for her.
Yeah, which was about 25 years.
Okay.
We kept
in touch.
In touch. Right.
No rulers.
Huh?
No rulers. Okay, good. Good. So would you say this was someone from previous engagements? Was this like a soulmate or someone that you might have known in one of your 50 or so previous rodeos?
No.
So this was someone new.
Someone new.
Someone new.
Who was sent to mentor people. And that was her path. And
how did you recognize that she was legitimate for you?
Legitimate. I never.
Because I'm sure you're approached by plenty of men and women going, hey, you got gifts I want to help you develop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, somebody approaches me like that, and they're out before they just say you got gifts, and they're out.
Yeah.
No, I was one of the very few people that I actually just trusted. She felt so comfortable.
Okay.
There was no deceit. There was no energy of any sort that didn't fit in.
There were no red flags.
No red flags.
Okay, good. But you also didn't get clearance from any of your presets or archangels or she just showed up.
Just showed up. And it was still my free will.
Right.
So they didn't want to they knew, they said go ahead, I would go the opposite. So they figured let's just leave me alone.
Yeah, okay. Now you have a little glimpse into what it's like. But
Go ahead.
so for people out there,
yes,
in this day and age,
all
right, 25 or more years later, if someone approaches them, what's their best way of knowing that they're safe with that person?
Your gut feeling. If they ask you for money, right there and then. If they don't say, I know maybe you cannot afford it, but just, there has to be some exchange of energy, but you could give me a big cake. Or you could, in exchange.
And pop out of it. No.
Exchange. It's always exchange.
Right.
If you feel
they're willing to work with you.
Yeah. If you feel it's not good, it's not good. So.
Well, what about people who just generally have become traumatized and paranoid because you did not have a smooth life up until that moment?
I've never had a
smooth. So I'm saying you had your severe challenges.
Yeah.
And, some people will go through that and they'll take the baggage of that. And when they evaluate, the baggage will
override. Well, you have to remember, people, you go through life. Life is a roller coaster. You're going to have your ups and downs.
Is it a wood coaster or a steel coaster?
You cannot.
Try to get a feeling for it.
Wow. You cannot keep those baggages with you. You have to just work through it. And not that you have to, but if you want to evolve and you want to be in a really more peaceful life and more joyous life, there's a need for you to go through those traumas and
overcome.
Yes.
And I'm more of a Tom Lehrer fan. I say life is like a sewer. What you get out of it depends upon what you put into it. But that's a whole nother story. So you're on a roller coaster. Okay. Where are you on the coaster right now?
Right now?
Right now.
I don't know. I have a headache.
You've had a headache for a while now. Don't let that stop you.
I'm all right.
Where are you on the roller coaster?
Well,
are you like going around?
They don't need to really. Why would they need to know where I am on the roller coaster? It's up or down at any given moment.
Okay, but you're not hearing the clicks as you go up that first. Right, you passed that.
Yeah, I'm past that. Yeah.
Okay, and you don't see the gate coming up on you either.
No.
All right, so you're in the middle of the ride.
Yeah, in the middle.
Okay, that explains the screaming. Some of the screaming.
I should be getting off, so.
And that explains some of the screaming. But anyway, that's another show.
Well, yes, go ahead.
All right, so this mentor took you as far as she could in the 25 or so years.
Yes.
Were you working with anyone else while you were working with her?
Actually, I was, upon her recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, she referred me to somebody else to learn more of those skills or develop more of that stuff, like, for example, tea leaf readings or readings in general.
So it wasn't through ego, was it, I am the great and powerful Oz?
No.
That's another clue, folks.
She really knew where her limitations were. And
where her strengths were.
Or her strengths, whatever you want. And she knew that she could only was supposed to mentor me for this stuff, and then somebody else for some other stuff.
So she wanted you to be well-rounded.
Yes.
So it's her fault.
It's her fault.
Okay. And how well-rounded are you?
I could lose an extra few pounds. Yeah, I'm well-rounded.
Okay.
Yes.
How many Reiki modalities do you know? Different Reiki modalities.
7, 8.
Okay.
So,
7, 8 different Reiki modalities. And in Usui, you're in that one alone. You're at 20 attunements.
20 levels.
20 levels. Okay. And in one of the other ones, you're at 10, but 10's as high as it goes.
Right.
And you're a sensei in that one.
Right.
All right. So, once you get sensei, so you're Reverend Sensei Glenda.
Yes.
Or is it Sensei Reverend Glenda?
No.
Because you're also an ordained minister.
Yes.
And you perform ceremony.
Yep. Weddings, funerals, baptismals, that kind of thing. Even talk. If somebody wants me to lead a congregation, as they say.
But you don't just stop there.
No.
You do other ceremonies.
Yeah.
Like?
If they want hand fasting. Or
what's hand fasting?
Hand fasting.
Because I have no idea. This is the first time.
No, you don't even go there. Hand fasting is when two people decide to take the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
That's when a man's in charge, right?
Nope, that's what the woman's in charge.
Oh, that's a little too far back.
No, but you join and you get married, but it's more spiritually based than just getting married, getting a certificate from the state or the Commonwealth, whatever.
And that's where tying the knot comes from.
Yes.
Because, hand fasting sounds like, you can't get the ring on.
Yeah.
You need to,
so you put the two hands together and you take a certain ribbon and you tie it. And you tie it 3 times, which is tying the knot.
Well, how can you take the ribbon and tie it if you're putting your 2 hands together? Because
I don't.
that sounds like
somebody else does.
Oh, somebody else ties it. Okay.
I tie it. I'm the ribbon.
Oh, okay. You tie the knot on other people. Right. All right, because you've had a few knots tied on you.
Yeah, when we got married.
Yeah. And other times.
Yeah, when we got married.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the bondage stuff.
When we got married.
That's another knot.
Yes.
Or tape. But, so, what else do you do? What other ceremonies? Because you do, there are holidays that you do ceremony.
Full moon ceremony.
Okay.
And the equinoxes. I don't know. I have no idea.
The seasonal changes.
Seasonal changes.
So if someone wanted to do, say, a Mayhoon.
Right.
Is that, did I say that right?
Maple. A Maple ceremony?
Well, I was actually trying to say a holiday.
Yeah, no. Maple ceremony.
Okay, a Maypole ceremony.
Or
give me back my Maypole. That's
or like a winter
solstice.
Solstice, a summer solstice.
Okay. All right. All different types of
ceremonies.
Right. And you're not just a reverend in any one particular denomination.
Right.
You're a multi-denominational, right?
Non-denomination.
Okay.
Not multi. Non. I'm not associated with any denomination.
Specifically. But you can do a thing.
Yes.
In different denominations,
right.
If you're requested.
Right.
All right. Is there any denomination that you can't do?
No. I could do Jewish, not the full.
So you're not a moil?
No.
Okay. You can't cut it?
No.
All right.
Can't do that.
Can't do
All
that.
right.
No.
So
but
I could.
You could do a Jewish thing.
Right.
You could do a Catholic thing.
Right.
Okay. So you're pretty flexible.
Right.
And you can do ceremonies.
Almost anywhere.
Almost anywhere. And if you have a question, just ask her. If she's feeling it, you might get lucky.
Wow. Really?
Well, I think that people. Have you ever done a ceremony where people have said, Glenda, that sucked?
No.
Okay, so that's what when I say maybe you'll get lucky. That's what I'm referring to. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. That's where my mind is. You don't need to be with me down there. Moving right along. So your first mentor, 25 years, and that wasn't enough.
No, because you never, if I'm of the belief that you should never stop learning. You go and every single day you learn a different way. It's beautiful. You could combine all your knowledge and you could use what resonates and you don't have to use what doesn't resonate. And you may see how somebody does something a little different than you, and it's great because you find a different way of doing it. Because not every situation is the same. So even if I do a house blessing, not every house is the same. Not every situation that I come up against in that house is the same. And you may have to do different things.
So you may have to do a cleansing before you do a blessing.
Right.
You may have to do a smudging before you do a blessing.
Well, smudging and cleansing, but yeah.
Well, it depends on the denomination.
Right.
Right. So. And what other things do you do besides just the psychic stuff?
Let's see. The Reiki, the psychic stuff.
Yeah, well, we've established that you have gifts.
I channel very well.
You channel very well.
Yes.
Okay, like a cable box?
No.
No, how many channels you got? How many channels you got stuffed in there?
As many as I can.
As many as you can. Wow. HBO?
Probably.
No torrent stuff. No 8mm. Those are your channels. Anymore.
Oh my God. I've gone to from wow to oh my God, this is bad. In one show.
Which one is yours, by the way? I want to know which one's left for me. But anyway, it's another show. So you channel.
Yes.
Okay, what's that?
Where I let the other side communicate.
Okay, let me stop you right there because the other side is a lot of stuff on the other side. All right? And we haven't talked about this. So I think since you brought it up and channeling and everything else, because you're going to get people out there going, evil! Oh, I've never heard that before.
Oh, can you use that?
Well, if he didn't, I wouldn't.
Don't.
So
that's the past.
Right. That's the past, all right. So channeling.
Yes.
What general channeling do you do? Because there's all sorts of things on the other side.
Members of those who want to hear from them.
So that's mediumship.
No, technically channeling is when you let a family member from the other side actually come into you.
That's a modality of mediumship, though, because when you're talking about family, because you don't stop there.
Okay.
All right. What else do you channel?
I channel messages.
Right. So you channel guides.
I channel archangels.
Archangels. You channel any fallen angels?
No.
No fallen angels. So you only work
in the light. Yes.
In the light, or greatest good. And greatest good, for those that don't understand what greatest good means, do you want to explain this or not?
No, go ahead. I want to see how you
okay. Greatest good is best practice for everyone, including the self. Okay? So anyone that's out there says, all that stuff, that's just Satan. No. No, he can stay wherever the hell he is, away from us. We don't do that.
Very true.
All right.
Yeah.
And anyone who does, and while we're here,
yes,
that would be any kind of a binding spell, including a romantic binding spell. You know, love potion.
When you guys,
anything that takes away free will.
When you guys contact me and you say, I want a love spell to have so and so come to me and love me and take care of me and all that, I will refuse to do that.
Why?
Because that's going against that other person's free will.
And anything that goes against another person's free will is automatically not greatest good.
Right.
Right.
And not a light worker's job.
Right. And you're a light worker.
Yes.
Well, I'm a heavyweight. No.
You said it, guys.
Yeah. But hey, somebody's got to be the heavy. So you're a light worker. I'm a light worker too.
Yes.
But you know, she's a little lighter than I am, unless she tans. But that's another show.
Go ahead.
So greatest good, anything that interferes with free will, and anyone who will do anything that interferes with free will is not working for greatest good.
Right.
What about gossip?
That's not greatest good.
That's not greatest good? No?
Nope.
How do people feel? And when I say people, I'm talking about
anybody
above our pay grade.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about people above our pay grade.
Okay.
How do people feel about gossip above our pay grade?
Not so good. They don't. That's not working in the light.
That's not working in the light.
Yeah, it's none of your business what the other person does.
Or what people say about what
Right,
the other
right.
person does.
It's like, stay away from that.
In fact, there's one modality that believes you killed 3 people in gossip.
Okay, there we go.
Person you're gossiping about, person you're gossiping to, and yourself.
Yeah.
So gossip, anyone who gossips, folks, not working in the light.
Right.
Just so you know how to spot one. But
Yeah.
back to you.
Back to me.
All right, so you had another mentor.
Yes.
How many mentors?
Officially 4.
Officially 4.
Right. Unofficially a little more because, you know.
I'm one of the unofficial ones.
No, you're not even close. I mentor you.
We're twin flame. We mentor each other. But not very much. Just, you know. It's just when she looks up and she goes, really? I know. Yeah. So 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
4 officially.
4 officially.
Yeah.
And how do you know when you're done? When you can stop learning things, when you don't have to learn any different modalities, or
when I'm dead.
When you're dead.
Yeah. When I'm gone from this lifetime forever.
So you're still learning.
I learn every day. Every single day.
What is some of your current
stuff? I am going, I'm taking more Karuna Ki, Reiki. So I should be a grandmaster on that.
Okay.
Which is to the 9th level.
And Karuna Ki is?
Another type of Reiki.
From?
Hawaii.
So it's basically the Hawaiian holy practice of.
Yeah, they don't call it.
They don't call it that, but it's.
So I don't want to have people confused.
Okay, so it stems from the concept of Ho'oponopono.
It stems from the concept of coming from love from the heart.
Okay.
That's what it
love
stands
and forgiveness.
For. Yes, that's what it stands for.
Okay.
No, don't attach it to anything.
Don't attach it to a religious
no,
modality.
or anything else. No.
Okay.
It's not religion. So
okay.
It's not attached to anything like that.
Okay, so you just meant it with me. It should be that easy. So, so you're studying Karuna Ki. What else?
I'm also taking. I'm actually being mentored in more hypnosis.
Okay.
I'm actually being mentored in more of an intuitive writing course.
An intuitive writing course. So that's like channeling?
Yeah, that's what they call it. So.
No, I understand that, but for the unindoctrinated out there, automatic writing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're doing it so you can actually do a full book.
Right.
And they're teaching you step by step and helping you develop that side of the gift.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it like on your day-to-day? Is everything just, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows for you?
Heck no.
Why not?
Well, just think of this. All right. Average
You're
person,
asking me to think. Wait a minute. Let's stay in the mode of reality.
An average person takes a step, okay?
Mhm.
That step for them is 2 of mine because I'm a lot shorter. So right off the bat, I'm doing a lot more work than you guys just to walk. So I get tired faster. I go into pain faster. I get challenged by if I'm trying to get to something that's beyond my reach. I get challenged by people constantly being egotistical and they think they have to compete with me. So I get challenged even on the
Well, wait a minute.
spiritual
Wait. You open that little chestnut. Egotistical people who think they have to compete with you.
Yeah.
What do they do?
They do stuff like throwing spiritually bad juju.
Bad juju.
Bad juju.
Bad juju.
Bad energy.
Bad
Energy that there's no reason for it. There's no reason to be jealous of anybody. There's no reason to compete with anybody. We're all here to accomplish the same thing. The greatest good, the best you can do in this lifetime.
So they're in with the gossips. They're working in the dark.
Right.
And you don't work in the dark unless they turn the lights out, in which case you tell me to turn the lights back on. You can't see in the dark. So even though a star makes its own light, you stay in the light. You don't try to make the dark into the light. You try to minimize the dark and overcome it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you say to those people who work in the dark?
It is up to them, but I think it would be beneficial for them in this lifetime and the next few lifetimes to get out of the dark and stay in the light.
But why do people work in the dark anyway?
Because they get immediate satisfaction.
Immediate gratification.
Yes.
What are those?
Yes. A lot of
Is that
the
why
times,
you take so long?
A lot of the times you can make a deal with the dark side for more business or to be a star or to be well known or to be famous or to be rich or whatever. And
or just to have power over people. Or the illusion of power over people.
But whatever. That happens and then you have to pay up. Because nothing is free.
What do you mean pay up?
Well, you go through this lifetime and you ask to be rich or you ask to be a millionaire, for example, and you make a deal and that deal happens that you're a millionaire. But then you could be a millionaire, but then you have other problems that come with that because you haven't gotten there the right way. So
what's the right way?
The right way is working for it or winning the lottery or the light, whatever the case may be. Not making a deal with the dark side.
Or maybe just living a fulfilled, empowered life without a focus solely on materialistic things.
Right.
Because it's not just money.
But we have to also, clear it out there. We all need money to survive.
Well, we all need the ability to exchange energy, however that happens to survive.
Okay.
But yeah.
We still need money.
Money's actually, again, a man-made construct. So.
Right. It may be a man-made construct, but you cannot get anywhere without it.
Oh.
No. I don't care. You cannot even hitchhike anymore. They'll arrest you for that. So you cannot even really go around and go from one state to another like you used to be able to hitchhike all the way across the U.S.
Well,
if you got there, because you never knew if you met some crazy.
There are people that have walked across the U.S. There are ways to do things. I don't want to go down that road too much. What I'm saying is that money has been elevated to a point where it's used as power over people,
right.
but it's not as important as living a
righteous life. Yes.
A righteous life. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. So people in the dark side are not living a righteous
They're
life.
not living their righteous life. No.
Okay. Whose righteous life are they living?
Nobody's.
Right. So they're not living a righteous life.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're not living their righteous life.
Okay. The life that they were born to live.
Right. Their path.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And there it goes. Free will. They were able to do that free will themselves. You know, they didn't. They chose to go that way instead of other stuff.
And some people like to go both ways, but that's another show.
Really?
You know how much I love that movie.
Yes, I know. I wish you did.
Is that so?
Yes.
That's definitely another show.
Yes,
So,
yes. Go ahead.
What is it that you regret?
What is it that I regret? Actually, I really don't regret anything.
How could that be?
Because everything that happened to me in my life has happened with a reason, a purpose, and I have evolved and learned. Sometimes very hard-headedness, but I learned, and it's gotten me where I am now.
But some really horrific things have happened to you. And I'm not just talking about the birth defect. I'm talking about things that humans have done to you. Spiritually, emotionally, physically.
And mentally.
Well, it wasn't that. Anyway, so obviously. And through that all, you have no regrets.
No.
Because,
like I said, those were all put in my way, so I learned my lessons. Those were lessons. Each and every incident that happens to you or doesn't happen to you, you learn a lesson from it. And from there, you could evolve to the next level of your soul evolution and be directed towards your path.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying everything is opportunity.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, where have I heard that before?
I don't know.
So everything is opportunity, and beyond the minutia of the day-to-day of the splinter in the finger or the losing of the thumb or all of the horrible, terrible things that we may be challenged with in our lifetimes, being told you're never going to walk and all of that. Those are things that can give you the opportunity to be stronger and find other ways of evolution and becoming someone. Is that
correct?
How?
Well, you are someone. You don't become someone.
Right.
You are someone when you're born. The second you're born.
But that someone evolves.
Right.
So when I say becoming someone, I'm not saying you're not someone when you're born, but you're not finished when you're born necessarily. Some are a little ahead of their time, but it's an evolution. So when I say becoming someone, I'm talking about evolving.
Yes, evolving. That's true.
You'd think by now. So what would you say is your mantra?
My mantra? Give everybody a fight? No.
That's just me. That's your mantra with me. Give him a fight.
Oh yeah, when they say do this, go the other way. No, that's not what just keep going. Keep going. Keep learning.
Keep on swimming.
Keep learning. keep going.
So you're Dory.
I'm Dory.
Okay. You hear that, Ellen? Get her on the show. No.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your mission?
My mission is to be the best I can be.
Best what you can be.
The best human I can be at any.
Any human?
No, me.
Oh, the best you.
That's what I said. The best I can be.
Okay, but you know, I could be anybody.
Not my fault.
I'm just saying.
Problem either.
You know, I mean, I used to do 180 impressions, so you know, I could pretend.
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 So you're pretending.
Right.
You're not being.
So the best, authentic
Me.
self.
Me.
Self.
Me.
You're selfish.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. You're elfish and selfish. You're a little Keebler thing here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you just heard it. He called me selfish.
But there's nothing wrong with being selfish.
No, as long as you are not harming anybody else.
Right.
As long as you're taking care of yourself, because you have to take care
You
of yourself.
have to take care of yourself.
You have to take care of
You know, it's when people are selfish, exclusive of the whole,
yourself.
that's when you stray from greatest good. That's why greatest good includes the self.
Right. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to say, no, I cannot go on. I cannot go with you guys because I'm tired, because you need to rejuvenate.
Just
And
okay?
when I say it's okay, it's okay. So.
But I'm saying it's more than okay. It's necessary.
Right. Sometimes it is necessary. And sometimes it's just okay. It's okay to give yourself that permission to take care of yourself and rejuvenate and ground. And sometimes it requires being away from everybody, you know, and being away from anything, you know, and just.
So that's when we
go
do
to
the
the
Fred
beach.
Flintstone and you kick me out and I bang on the door because I followed the cat out and Wilma!
No, that's when I go to the beach.
Oh,
And leave you behind.
I see. So you're
For sure.
Sandy and I'm Danny?
Yeah, that's when I leave you down and I go down to the shore.
Okay. But if I wanted to go to the shore, you'd consider it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
consider it.
You could, for a moment.
For a second.
For a second.
Not even a moment.
So even though we're twin flame,
Yes. Okay.
we're not joined at the hip
No.
anymore.
No.
We might have been. Were we ever joined at the hip in a previous life?
No.
Did they ever pull that kind of RNA on us? 'Cause-
Yeah, they have a practical joke
Yeah.
right up there. Yes.
Okay,
But
but
no.
no, we were never joined at the hip, and we're not joined at the hip now.
No.
Because if I want to do something, damn it,
Uh-huh.
you're not going to stop me.
Okay.
Well, I'd be interfering with my free will.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
You
it.
just looked at it. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. You do that.
Go for it. honey.
Yeah. See what happens.
I just let you free will.
Yeah.
I always
It's like George of the Jungle is going through my head.
Alrighty then. The cartoon or the actual picture?
I like the picture better, actually. I never really liked the cartoon. Brandon Fraser, I thought, nailed it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a good job there. He did a good job, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so what would you say to someone who may not be on their path and may be feeling that they're not on their path? Aside from go to Glenda's Dragons Den.
And look me up and let's schedule an appointment. No.
Because there is a glendasdragonsden.com for people that are interested in a more direct form of mentorship or guidance in specific things.
Yeah.
But what would you say to someone, you know, who's not prepared to take that journey and may not be on their path?
Well, just go within and
What does that mean, go within?
look at yourself, your true self. Look within. Actually, I actually tell them to get a mirror.
Yes.
And look right into their eyes, because that's where the so-called soul is. And look right in there.
And someone can see that.
The true self, yes.
You can see your true self.
Yes. And if you don't
why
like
do more
your true
people
self,
do that?
because they don't like it. They're scared of seeing their true self.
Ooh.
They don't want to see the little things that they're feeling guilty about.
Ooh.
Or the things that they haven't healed from, or the things that they have done that they have stuffed in their closet, the skeletons and all that other stuff.
Well, what happens if someone does that and they're not seeing it?
Oh, they see it. They don't see it, then.
But I'm saying, what would you say to help them to know that that's in fact what they're seeing? What does it feel like to do that?
Well, every feeling is different. Every person that sees themselves, that looks at themselves, will feel differently, because it all depends whether they have been able to heal and from their past, or what they did in their past, they have been able to actually work through it or not. They need to work through it, then I could facilitate their working through it. I would direct them, but they have to do the work.
Okay, I understand they have to do the work, but let's say everybody can do this, right? Everybody can do this.
Yep. If they want to see themselves, they will. Everybody can do this. Yep.
How does a blind person do it?
Blind person still sees their soul, because their soul is energy. It's not. You don't see with these eyes. Let's just say that. You see with the inner eye.
Okay, so you've got to look in a mirror and let go of the monkey mind.
Yeah, okay.
All right. And then? What?
And
then?
Just talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself.
Until you actually see and feel your true self. Like I said, not everybody's ready to do that, because they have to face the stuff that they have done, that they are deep down know that it wasn't for greatest good. I don't care what path you're in, okay, whether you're in the light or in the dark. If you do that, you will see stuff that, even though you're in the dark and you think you're doing the greatest good, and you're doing greatest good for yourself, and you think you're in the right path and the whole thing, once you do that, you see your true self. Everything you have done and not done.
Is that what Cindy Lauper was talking about?
Bye.
I see your true colors shine.
Thank you. Anyway, seriously, some people are not ready to see themselves. Some people are not ready. They want healing, but they're not ready for healing, because they don't want to hear what they have to do, or they don't want to face the reality of things. They want to be the martyr. They want to be the victim. They want to stay in that type of a situation, because they just don't want to do the work.
In this light, you're starting to sound like a coach.
Oh, I do that too.
You do that too?
Yeah, I do that too.
What don't you do aside from work in the dark? What's your next?
My next?
What's calling you next?
What's calling me next? Write a book.
Write a book. Yes. Okay, that's definitely another show.
Yeah, but that's
next.
That's
and you're working towards that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the big next. There's little stuff in between.
So aside from thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, and walking, and me, what's your greatest accomplishment?
My children.
I was thing 1, thing 2, and thing 3. Come on, try to stay with me now.
My greatest accomplishment?
Yeah, in other words, what has given you the greatest sense of purpose in your lifetime to date?
Teaching. When I see that, when I explain something, where I show somebody something and it goes boom, you see that light. The imaginary light actually goes on.
So teaching,
and helping others.
You give clinics.
Yeah.
You give a mediumship development clinic.
Yeah.
And how's that going?
Going good. Yeah. Everybody that comes gets their message.
Well, they don't necessarily get their message, but
Well,
they get messages and they're able to.
The way it should be.
Right.
They communicate with the other side. Let's just say that.
And they get what's theirs to get for those that they're there to get them for.
Right.
Okay. And you do Reiki clinics.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those that can't get there personally, you also have international clients.
Yes. Yeah. Which I do distance.
Right.
So,
and how's that working out?
Good. They all love it and they're all feeling it and they're all getting out of it what they need to get out of it. So doing good.
And what's your greatest regret?
None.
What?
None.
None?
Not right now.
Not right now?
I do want to mention, since we're running almost out of time, that
well, let's reframe that, since the time allotted for this show is drawing nigh.
I would like to mention that I do have two very big events coming up. One is August 21st, a Wednesday. It's a event to let you meet your gods. So everybody wants to come. And
well, what the hell does that mean? Meet your gods? You mean somebody? You mean like in Salem when she said, "Hey, let me show you around it."
Okay, spiritually, your guys, those that are with you since they were the second you were born.
Okay.
All right.
We have guides.
Then, yes. And
well,
then
we have. We have guides. How many guides do we have?
6.
6.
We're always happy.
And how many are you going to meet?
6.
6.
Wow. Don't yell.
6. All 6.
Yes. And then September 21st, we're doing a charity event here. We're doing 10-minute Reiki, chair Reiki to all who come and bring a donation for the Women's Resource Center of Monroe County, Women's Resources. They will also be here, and we also have Itzy, who...
Itzy? Is that a spider?
Itzy Del Grasso.
Okay.
Also from coming down here and meeting everybody and talking about her services.
What are her services?
Well, massage therapist and nutritionist, and she really helps those with chronic pain, chronic illnesses, and helps them lead a better life with nutrition.
And this is someone who works in the light.
Yes, completely in the light. And then we also have, what's her name now? Oh boy, you threw me off completely. That's why I was like, shh. Because I hate when you do that. You throw me off.
Okay, we have our guest from last week.
Yes, our guest from last week.
All right, who?
There's Akasha Records.
Reader.
Yeah, and I mean, she wrote a book.
What's the book called?
Akasha Records Unleashed.
Akasha Unleashed.
Yes.
Now picture the book.
I picture the book.
By?
Nope.
She's gonna kill you.
Yes, she's gonna kill me. A couple of people are gonna kill me because they have the same name. I know it. Deborah. I am sorry. Deborah Lupien.
You don't have to be sorry. You remembered it.
Yes. I apologize, Deborah.
It's my fault, Deborah.
Yeah, he's throwing me off.
I distracted her.
I keep telling him, don't do that. But he does.
And Deborah works only in the light.
Only in the light.
And what does she do? What's the Akashic record?
Akashic record is all of your information from day one of all of your lifetimes.
So it's even more than the CIA.
Even more than the CIA.
And more beneficial.
Yes, beneficial because it could explain a lot of the stuff that you do now. So.
It's unresolved stuff.
Sometimes.
So it could help you resolve stuff.
Yes.
Okay, and she's going to be, and what's she going to do here other than help out?
She's also going to be here talking about what she does and maybe get a message or two for people. Who knows?
Ooh.
Yeah. So we have a good crew. We also have Joanne O'Hara and Paul Gilbo, who are going to be the other two Reiki practitioners here that we're going to be doing the chair Reiki event. So please look us up.
And maybe others.
Yes, there's still surprises coming
if
along.
you feel that you can add something to the fray.
Right. Let's just say for now that
reach out to Glenda. Go to glendasdragonsden.com and you can get directly in touch. And for those people that aren't in the vicinity, they can also work with you remotely.
Yes, of course.
And that's just as successful
as being present right in front of me.
And we have verifiable proof of that.
Yes.
So, in closing, we have a friend we found out right before the show started, who's ill and been sent to or taken to the hospital. And the nice thing is we don't even have to say who that is because we're conduits. And if we all just send positive energy and thoughts to our friend, that will help our friend. Yeah. So we're going to ask for that.
Yes, please. And then we're also going to let you know that next week we will have a show.
It'll be better than this, folks.
Hopefully better than this.
I try not to set the bar too high, okay? It's like between 4 feet and 5 feet. But we will have a show every week. That is our intention. And which just like I said, we're in transition. Thank you for everybody during this week that has helped us get some stuff together. A lot of stuff together.
Yeah, a lot of stuff together. And the last few details are in the works. So we should be really good and running by next Sunday.
And for those of you who have a subject you'd like us to cover or are a subject you'd like us to cover, reach out to her on Glenda's Dragon's Den. And there are 4 buttons there. There's the Force to be Reckoned with button. That's the non-lethal self-defense weaponry button. There's the doTERRA button. That's the aromatherapy button. There's the CBD oil button.
Which is a CTFO button.
Right. That's CTFO. That's the company that makes the grade of CBD oil that keeps her lubricated. And then there's the Glenda's Magical Creations button. And that's the button that will get you in touch directly with her. The other ones, you don't really have to be in touch with her. You can be, but that's the button. That's the button she has out for you to push if you want to push that button.
All right, guys. So we are going to take this opportunity to just say blessings. Hope you have a great week. And stay positive, stay as best you can.
Okay, Mamacita, I go sleep now.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good one.
Take care.